Anastasia, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about something that you may not be aware of, and that is the effect of sugar on your hormones. So as women, we need to be really aware of the things in our lifestyle and the things that we eat that contribute to something called estrogen dominance. Now, if you've never heard of this, this is where there's an imbalance between our progesterone and our estrogen. And the problem comes in when we have an imbalance of those two things. And generally speaking, most of our menstrual problems and our menopausal issues come from the fact that we have an imbalance of estrogen and that we have more of it than progesterone. And so this can lead to stuff like PMS and hot flashes and mood issues and even more detrimental things like infertility and just fertility issues and reproductive issues in general. So the thing I'm going to talk about in particular, like there's several things that contribute to this, but today I'm just going to talk about one, and that is sugar. So don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of sugar. Not so much white sugar, but I really enjoy maple syrup and honey and coconut sugar. But a lot of people don't realize that sugar contributes to an increase in estrogen. And that's because when we consume sugar, there's something called SHBG, which is a sex hormone binding globulin, and that basically causes our estrogen to spike, because normally that binds to estrogen and kind of prevents it from being too abundant in our systems, but when we eat sugar, it prevents that from happening. So my suggestion to everyone is to start to pay attention to the amount of sugar you're eating every day. And you really don't want to have more than 20 grams a day, which is probably like 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. So that's not a lot of sugar. So, and be aware of the sources of sugar in your diet. So not only is straight out white refined sugar in most of the foods that people consume, like your breakfast cereal, it's even in breads, in your fruit juices, in your pop, in your coffee. If you're a coffee drinker, maybe consider going black. But it's also in the refined carbohydrates that we eat. So that when you're eating like white rice and white bread, because there's no fiber, it really increases the rate at which the sugar, like the carbs in those products, go into your system after you've eaten them. So you want to focus more on fresh fruits, because at least fruit has sugar in it, but they also have fiber and nutrients, which really slow down the release of sugar in your system. So that's my little input for you today, is to start to pay attention to your diet, the amount of sugar that you're eating, and maybe do a mini challenge for yourself, or go 1 month with significantly reducing the amount of sugar you're eating, and notice how it makes you feel and how it affects your hormone levels. And if you're in perimenopause or menopause, notice if it helps at all with any of those symptoms. Ideally, we kind of do this sort of thing long before we hit the stage of menopause and perimenopause, in order to create more of a balance in our system before we reach these points in our lives where they become more obvious, where the imbalance and the problems just become magnified at that point in your life. So if you have daughters, just encourage them to start from now to really, really eat quality sugar, if you're going to eat it at all, and in small amounts. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.